And we are back. Hope you're able to make the most of that extended break that we did have, but we have gotten our players ready. We've wrangled them. We've gotten them here. We've had them conduct their vetoes, and now we are ready to get this show going. We're going to be kicking off our second half of the open bracket, of course, here in group or bracket D, I should say. And we're going to start with a little bit of a PVT that's quite near and dear to our hearts here on the CranKy Ducklings channel. Over here, kicking it off on Oceanborn in the top left-hand corner of the map, swatting all the way in the top left. We have representing Mystery Gaming from the land of China. We have Cyan.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back as we are diving into the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have the American Terran player representing the CranKy Ducklings as he is one of our own. It is Dolan. Going for a proxy out on the map.
Here we go. This is part of why we wanted to cast Dolan. We were so eager to get into this match in particular, specifically to get our eyes on Dolan, the man with the best builds.
He does have a very specialized way of playing. He's a very aggressive, very all-in player, and I'm curious to see what kind of builds he has in store for us. For now, it is going to be the proxy racks on the left-hand side, just Reapers on the way, but we do have another SCV, or the same SCV, still marauding around, so I'm curious if we're going to be committing here to something a little bit greater, to something like a factory, maybe even a starport, and just a straight-up proxy 1-1-1.
Yeah, we do have a factory back at home, so I'm sensing a starport coming out from this location. No, it's actually going to be a Ghost Academy!
Oh, we're going for a one
It's
base!
been so long since I've seen him do this.
Yeah, we're going for one base all in. We're going for the Ghost Academy. I imagine we're going for a Tech Lab thereafter. There it is. Tech Lab is on the way, and we are rushing Ghosts!
Oh, Lord. There's something that Dolan did cultivate a little bit a couple of years back, and it was specifically a TvP build. It's a build that's meant to utilize that EMP to try to shave off as many shields on not just the units of your Protoss opponent, but also potentially some of these structures as well, and be able to snipe some key tech. We're actually investing into Cloak this time, so Dolan looking to be a little bit sneaky with this build.
Cloak is on the way. Detection is going to be required. Cyan is opening up with a Robo. Ooh, okay, it's going to be a Robo opener. This is unfortunate for Dolan. Cyan is going for a very safe build. Very safe. We spoke about this at the start of the night, about how some of the Korean Protoss have been a little bit more fond of Robo openers as of late, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. With this, we can get a fast Immortal and also a fast Observer from the side of Cyan.
Yeah, very wise move coming out from Cyan. He did scout early on with his probe. He did scout that there was no tech in the main. He confirmed that there's only a factory here. Hasn't quite scouted the proxy yet, but he knows that Dolan is up to something.
Yeah, the Robo is just about to finish up. Meanwhile, Ghost production is continuing here for Dolan. There is a Zealot scouting the left-hand side of the map, and it looks like we will come across the proxy. The Zealot will get eyes on everything that we have to offer here, and how will Cyan respond? How will he piece this together as the Zealot confirms the production, but not quite the Ghost yet?
Yeah, not yet. Dolan doing a very good job of keeping it hidden in the shrubbery, but now they are forced to reveal themselves. Zealot will get taken out, but like you said, Cyan now well aware of what he's facing.
And he already has an Observer. There's an Observer out on the map covering the natural base. I love that we pull the Observer back as well to make sure that it isn't EMP'd. We scan, but the Observer, as we mentioned, is too far back. We won't snipe it.
Yeah, but we may be able to snipe. Okay, not quite. Snipe the Adept.
Yeah, the Adept will survive back at home. We can see Dolan expanding, transitioning, but this is such a late expansion. Dolan needs to get some more done here. Like, again, this proxy, this all-in setup was very committed, and for him not to get any damage done so far, it's a little bit brutal.
To say the least. We're going to try to make the most of it. We're going to try to keep these ghosts out on the map as a little bit of scouting, potentially dealing a little bit of damage if they catch eyes on any stalkers or any adepts that are making their way across the map.
Yeah, we do have them patrolling for any kind of movements, as you were mentioning. Meanwhile, Cyan is built up towards 2 Immortals, third base soon to be on the horizon. There's no reason for Cyan to push out, but we do have a Prism on the way. The Prism can help reinforce and juggle our units. Cyan is going to be pushing, and oh boy, do we have much to defend at home. We do have 2 tanks, but that's what the Immortals are for.
That is indeed what they're for. We do have some EMPs available, which will help a little bit, but yeah, we still need a follow-up after that.
We do need that follow-up. Third tank has arrived. Bunker is done. I mean, we're looking pretty fortified at our natural. We can pull the boys as well, but with the help of this War Prism, we can juggle into the main base, and the main is looking a little bit more exposed.
Indeed, it is. And of course, with the Warp Prism, you don't have to worry about just blinking on the edge. You can drop directly on top of these tanks, as demonstrated.
Yeah, we focus on 1 tank already. Second tank goes down as well. 2 tanks fall for the cost of nothing, as it depths a shade into the mineral line, forcing some friendly fire as well. And Dolan, he is hurting as we dive in, and we're denying stim.
Oh, we are in fact denying stim. Is forced to be retaken in a separate tech lab over in the more fortified position, which is actually a pretty huge delay. Stim was about to be done, and with Stim, Dolan has a lot more of an opportunity to get on the map to be a little bit more active, but now he's stuck at home yet again.
Yeah, now we have to
remain at home for quite a while.
Yeah, third CC's on the way, so Dolan is looking to try to macro out of this, but macroing out of this is not going to be an easy feat here for Dolan, as he is behind. We have the Immortal drop in towards the natural base. Gas guys are going to be going down to SVs, and we delay the third CC. Can we even force a cancel?
And not quite yet. EMP will shave off the shields, but once again, there's just not enough supply to really follow that up with. There's not enough to really clean up these damaged Protoss units here for Dolan.
Yeah, exactly. It's impressive that Cyan has been able to just get so much value and keep these Immortals alive for so long. Very impressive control here from Cyan. Behind this, third base is getting up and running. Archons are on the way, charge ults as well. Cyan is building up on 3 bases. The Immortals, they come back in. Once again, they delay the third CC.
And they're going to get even more damage dealt. Already a couple of SCVs fallen, which is great, but on top of that, shaving off the bio count is just going to give Cyan a much easier time when Dolan eventually goes for his timing push.
Exactly, as Dolan is still building up. I mean, he would have moved out by now, but remember, Stim was delayed, the tank count was almost reset as well, and Cyan is the one to push instead. Moving out with everything he has. The Observer is caught out, but no, the Observer lives!
It is able to retreat to a more advantageous position. Dolan has been able to keep his ghosts alive, so they're going to be useful as the game continues. They can still throw around a couple of EMPs. Vikings are out, going to have to try to deal with this Warp Prism, but a massive warping of Zealots is going to force an evacuation of the mineral line, and yeah, now Cyan's attacking from 2 angles. He has way too much to deal with. Even hallucinates a couple of Colossus to tank a bit of damage and give a little high ground vision. GG is called. Cyan into game number 1.
GG, well played. Cyan just collapsing on Dolan there from every single angle, and Dolan just did not have enough to keep up. Again, he was so committed with his proxy ghost. Ooh, but alas, here we just wasn't able to make use of it. We saw that Cyan completely shut it down with that robo opener, and with that, Cyan takes a lead.
Just like so. Yeah, that was pretty much a textbook counter to this particular build. It was a build that Cyan wasn't quite aware of coming his way, but he knew that there was a proxy on the map. He knew that it was going to be a very committed proxy as well, with how Dolan made the factory in the main. And so he just decided to play safe, get his observer, get the rest of the tech that he needed, and that was pretty much smooth sailing from there.
Oh yeah, it was a smooth sailing. Meanwhile, I have some other updates coming in as well, which we can get into once we do wrap up this series. For now, game 2 is going to be on Ghost River. a much smaller map here, and I'm curious as to how Dolan will approach this. I'm curious as to maybe what kind of other shenanigans we have up our sleeve.
Yeah, we shall see. As for now, we're going to be loading into Ghost River, continuing our series where we're in the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left. We have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of China. He, of course, is going to be representing Mystery Gaming, MYG. We have Cyan.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the American Terran player, the blue Terran representing the CranKy Ducklings. Down in this series, but not out, it is Dolan.
Now, it's been about 2 years since it was in the map pool. So correct me if I'm wrong, Light, but does Ghost River remind you a little bit of Stargazer?
Okay. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. You're talking and referring to a Combat Shields all-in.
I believe so.
Ah.
My memory is a little bit foggy, but yeah, that was kind of a specialty that Dolan created on a map, on the Stargazers map a while ago. Stargazers kind of, to my memory, resembles Ghost River a little bit in the sense that at the very northern tip, you kind of have a bridge to your opponent's base that's very quick to traverse, but blocked off by debris.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that build in quite some time, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Stargazers also wasn't in the map pool for quite some time.
It's true. I haven't seen
Stargazer special.
It's been a while since I've gazed at the stars. You're not wrong. I don't typically go outside, but yeah, we'll see. As for now, it is double gas opener going into the factory as well.
I go outside quite a lot, but there's like pollution, so can't really gaze at them.
You're like, I go outside a lot, but I'm in Singapore, and the country is a city, so there's just no way to see the stars.
Yeah, there isn't.
True. As for now, we are going to be expanding, going for our CC on the high ground, so it looks like a bit of a safer opener here, going for the double gas. Meanwhile, Cyan this time is not going for a robo opener, it's going to be a Twilight Council instead.
Yeah. He knows he did go for the full scout, and he confirms that Dolan isn't being as committed, isn't proxying this time, so Cyan can go for a build that isn't as safe, a little bit more resource efficient, if you will.
Yeah, as
Picks
we
off
are...
a probe.
Does pick off a probe, and I assume that this is going to be Blink, but no, Cyan is being aggressive himself, rushing into charge.
Ooh. Yeah, I was right with you there. I was anticipating Blink. I was going to go into my whole, yes, Blink. It's safe, it's versatile, it's PvT, you know? But, like you said, Cyan is going to be taking advantage of the map, taking advantage of how close the rush distance is, and yeah, we're going to see a complete different dynamic here. We're going to see Cyan be the first player to be aggressive.
Yeah, and I'm curious how these compare to each other, because Dolan is going for a 3-rack setup here before the starport, so we're going to be building up quite heavily on 2 bases on this 3-rack setup, and we may even pull the boys with this. This might be the beginnings of a 2-base all-in from Dolan, which I wouldn't put it past him. But against mass charge lots, we've seen time and time again that Cyan wants to fight out on the map with this. He wants to fight out in the open.
Yeah.
I feel like if Dolan pushed into him, that might be giving Cyan what he wants.
Yeah, that's the absolute ideal scenario here. As a Protoss player, meet your Terran opponent's army out in the middle of the map, surround them from every single angle. It's basically a swarm toss style, but since we're still in the early game and we don't have that many gateways, we don't have a full swarm yet, but we're getting there. Do not get us wrong, we are getting there soon.
Yeah, and something important just happened here as we... I think that was meant to be a mule.
Oh. Unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah, as Dolan, he
That's actually not the first time this happened this broadcast.
It's true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But Dolan, he does confirm the tech and the gateways in the main at least, and he might believe that this is going to be 4-gate blink. With the researching Twilight Council, that would make a lot of sense. If that's the case, we might take more of a defensive stance here with bunkers and tanks. Tanks are getting in position. No bunkers yet, though, for Dolan.
Yeah, not yet, but the defensive stance, regardless, is going to inadvertently be better here for Dolan. He does have to be very careful as Cyan is going to be traversing around. He's going to be crossing that northern bridge, and he's not going to hit from that natural entrance. He's going to hit from behind the mineral line.
He is, but we do have a tank here a little bit further back to protect that mineral line. Tank is going to be going up. You have to be careful of the friendly fire, and the Zealots are going to be forced back. Ooh, 3 of them do get lifted. We do get the look on for a moment, but the Prism will escape into the dead space on a Ghost.
Oh no! These are marauders! But it's enough to deter the Warp Prism. For now, we don't have a starport just yet, unfortunately for Dolan, so yeah, no Vikings to really chase that down.
Unfortunately, no Vikings. We do drop the Zealots once again into the natural base, just threatening the mineral line, but here we go. We are pushing out. There's a starport on the way behind this for eventually medevac production. But we are pushing, we are moving out, and Cyan does spot this.
Yeah, with not one, but 2 observers.
Oh, do we catch breath? We do!
Unfortunate pathing for Cyan, but yeah, nicely done from Dolan to pick them both off. Unfortunately, again, because the starport was delayed, it's not quite able to deal with that Warp Prism. The Zealots are going to get a lot of damage, and now Dolan is pushing in. There's actually not that much at home here to defend.
Yeah, tanks are getting within range of the shield battery. Shield battery gets annihilated immediately, but there's 2 more shield batteries on the way. Behind this, we still have the overcharge in the back line. If the shield batteries do finish, we're going for the Nexus. Nexus is going to fall.
It looks like it's going to, and it will. Dolan not quite able to protect all of these tanks. He can't afford to stim anymore. He doesn't have medevacs with this army. Tanks go down, but so does the 3rd Nexus. Dolan lost 10 SCVs throughout all of this, but he was able to fight back. He was able to bloody the economy of Cyan quite a bit.
Yeah, and from here, Dolan has to make a choice. Do we start up a 3rd CC, or do we get ready for a 2nd wave? And for now, we're getting ready for that 2nd wave. We have Marauders, Marines, Widowmines, medevacs are in production. That Prism was doing quite a bit in the back line earlier, and it looks like we're slipping back in for another warp in.
Indeed, we are. So at this point, pull the boys, right? Well, maybe as, yeah, Cyan's trying to attack from 2 angles. Widowmines will get lifted up, but they are unable to burrow. Force field on the ramp will block Dolan from getting to the front lines, from dealing any damage here to defend. 8 SCVs and even more are going to go down. These SCVs just have nowhere to run.
Yeah, nowhere to go, nowhere to run. 14 workers go down. We still have Zealots wreaking havoc in the main base, going for the add-ons, going for the tech labs. The concussor shelf thankfully does finish up in time. We don't deny the upgrades, but this is just dealing so much damage, keeping Dolan busy and stuck back at home.
Yeah, not only that, but like you said, dealing enough damage to really cripple the Terran economy. Dolan is down over 20 workers to Cyan, and Cyan has rebuilt that Nexus. This economic lead that Cyan has is just going to get higher and higher unless Dolan's able to reciprocate.
Exactly, the pressure is now on Dolan to bounce back, and he just hasn't, or he has to piece this all and bring this all together. Dolan still has a decent army size, but if he moves out, there is that Warp Prism poised to punish him if he ever did.
I think it went down to, yeah, it went down to Viking.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Prism went down, we can push.
We can push indeed. We have a couple of mines. Oh, they are very low though, and they don't have drilling claws. So yeah, there is splash damage potential for Dolan, but it's quite limited to say the least.
It is going to be limited, and again, we're pushing into shield batteries, into overcharge, into 2 immortals. We have some force fields available as well if we do choose to use them. For now, we go for the Guardian Shield.
Yeah, and we do pop a couple of force fields, but Dolan is able to retreat. He is able to not get funneled into a concave, which is exactly what Cyan wants. A couple of Widowmines will connect with Zealots, and there's still enough bio to keep this going, but it is not going to be enough in the end. I believe a couple of Zealots were snuck into the natural base of Dolan, so yeah, real crippled economy. GG.
GG, well played. As you said, we had a big Zealot counterattack across the map as they were able to just cripple the economy. Dolan was completely all in there and just did not have enough to break through.
Yeah.
We saw that Dolan did break the third base the initial time, but killing the third was not good enough. We needed more than that. We needed to kill workers or break the army. Alas, unfortunately, we weren't able to do either, and Cyan takes the series.
Indeed, he does. It all comes down to that warp prism, or it all came down to that warp prism, it feels like. It was the absolute MVP throughout the entire match, not only getting a lot of harassment damage done, not only setting up multi-prongs here for Cyan, but also just keeping Dolan busy. Delaying his push over and over and over again, to the point where by the time Dolan did move out, Cyan already had Immortals, he already had Centuries of Energy, he already had pretty much everything he needed to defend. Dolan might have been able to trade at the very end there, but he didn't really have enough resources to keep that push going, unfortunately. So, yeah, with that, GG.
GG, well played. And with that, we are going to be getting ready for our next series here. Cyan advances on into the next round, and Bunny is already lying in wait. So Cyan versus Bunny is going to be available to us.
Another TvP. Let's keep this going.
Okay, so we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, Bunny versus Cyan coming up next.
See you then.